Yeah!
Yeah! Look at her. Over there. Who's that? Look at them. Look at them. Uh-huh. And the gorgeous, the stunning Calpernia Addams. She's there. Look at her. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Look at Her, the Hey Qween After Show, where our super celebrity guest looks at some of the queens they played with, slayed with, or even laid with, and spills a little tea. Oh, I have a cup. There's Lady Red. You can get this. Or throws a little shade if they have to. Only if they have to, okay? Or just tells us something that we don't know. Our guest today is the return of our very first guest, the beautiful, the stunning Calpernia Addams.
What?
Who, me?
The cameras?
You've been filming this whole time? I'm so surprised. Calpernia, so great to have you back. I mean, the last time you were on the show, Look at Her didn't exist. It got invented the next week after that. And we were on not a sparkle couch, just a futon with an old sparkle, thin sparkle fabric thrown over it. Yet you were still kind enough to be our first guest.
I'm just grateful you signed me out of the work release program to do that.
And believe me, we had to get her right back there. Now, I'm here also with Erickatoure and Adam Joseph. They look kind of like the gift shop from Facts of Life. Calpernia, only old people will get that joke.
You heard it from your brother, better get it from your mother. Facts of Life.
Exactly.
That's lyrics from the actual
You
song.
take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
And the Facts of Life gift shop, more importantly. Halfway through the series, they decided to be new wave 80s, and they opened up a gift shop that looked like Erica and Adam's outfits. Yay! Now, speaking of things that you might want to do, instead of changing your boarding school bakery into a neon gift shop, you don't need to do that. But what you can do is go to patreon.com/HeyQueenTV. For years worth of podcasts, every episode of So Real with Lady Red, so much fun, behind the scenes tea, and an audio version of the Hey Qween Man Show. Do you want to do that? Now, Calpernia, you never got to play Look at Her the first time.
And I have felt so incomplete.
For years.
Yeah.
You're like, why?
Just a hole in my...
Right. Yeah. Well, we've come to fill it up, Calpernia, because now I think you do know how to play the game.
Well, I've never gossiped about anyone before, but I'll try.
She'll learn for the very first time. You're going to love this list. It's all lots of people who you're very close to, and I'm sure you have lots of fun things to say. All right, let us begin. Yep, it's scared music, Calpernia. Look at! Now, it's your good friend, Paulie Pernette.
Miss Polly
Perrette, sorry.
From NCIS.
Yes.
I have the craziest story. When I first moved to Hollywood, I was taking any job, as I always say. I got hired to play her hands, just as, for ECUs, extreme close-ups on Polly Perrette's hands, boobs, and I used to dye my hair black, so pigtails. And one of my first jobs in Hollywood was literally all right, pick up the cell phone. All right, type on the keyboard. And it was the ECU on just my hands. And then years later, we met at an event, became good friends, hang out. I've stayed at her house for a month. She's so super cool and fun. And I always try to bring up, you remember when I played your boobs and hands, right? And that's so far from her day-to-day that she has no memory of it.
It's funny, I was responsible for doing the ECU for Sasquatch, and they did close-up on my beard. Whenever Sasquatch was not available, I came in and filled in for his beard.
I think you mean sex squat.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Calpernia, please, keep going. All right, let us continue. Look out. Ah! Two horrors! Now, you've been close with these ladies on and off stage.
How mind-blowing is it for me, I'm asking you as if you know. No, it blows my mind to be friends with Jackie Beat and Sherry Vine because I met them just kind of, friend of a friend at first, and then we became close friends eventually. And then I look up what they have done, where they have been, the events, the shows, the people they've worked with and stuff. It's just a complete mind blower. And they are the nicest people. Jackie would never want me to say that.
Right.
She would her theme song is "World's Biggest Bitch." It's Jackie, but they are so nice, and I don't even know what to say. I just love them to death.
Well, you definitely get the softer side of Jackie. You're part of like the Silver Lake lunch crew. You guys, there's a lot of lunches going on during the day.
Well, we're on these group texts, and Jackie especially, is merciless. But I love getting read down to the core from Jackie Beat. Like, I would pay to have that done, and she does it for free. So.
Fantastic. All right, look at her. Detox.
Miss Detox.
Now she started out as a Hamburger Mary's gal, and you guys have done shows together for years.
She was just a small town girl coming up from. She was just a small town girl coming up from Florida, and I had my long running show at Hamburger Mary's.
Ever heard of it?
Yeah. Yes. We all have haters online, and one of my haters was like, "So your whole career is working at somewhere with the word hamburger in the title."
Oh my God.
I was like, "Yes, and?"
You're like, yeah, and every other drag race star that you might enjoy has the same thing.
I get a free hamburger every night. But Detox had just kind of moved out from Florida, and I think we literally held auditions in the middle of the day. And all these queens came out in the daylight and auditioned, if I'm remembering this right. And Detox just blew me away because she looked nobody looked like her. And nobody moved like her. And so I booked her as much as she would come. I would book her. And then she just, up. And now she's like one of the top performers in the world. She's incredible.
What's an old school memory of your time with Detox in the Hamburger Mary's dressing room?
Well, I remember, she's kind of famous for her jaw movements and things like that. And this was before she even had developed her mannequin number where she stays still and holds out the purse.
Right.
But she was doing some really frenetic, high energy number. And then she pulled out a baggie of like powdered sugar and dumped it on the table and just like slammed her face into it. And her face is covered in powdered sugar and working that jaw and everything. And it's like, wow.
Like, this kid's going places.
Yeah.
Magic. Okay, look at her. Patrick Wolf.
Now, you guys, I don't know how many of you know him, but please look up Patrick Wolf. I grew up, my goddess pantheon was Kate Bush and Tori Amos. And please look them up too, you young kids. But I was hosting a pageant, which Shangela won that year. I forget what even pageant it was.
Was the Entertainer of the Year?
Yes, Entertainer of the Year. And I was hosting it. My fellow judges were, who were those prostitutes who live with Hugh Hefner?
Oh, the Girls Next Door.
Yes. And we were hosting it, and Shangela won that year. And Patrick, who's a huge star in Europe, was just wandering Sunset Boulevard and wandered in off the street to the pageant. And I had gotten really blotto and had a fake fur coat like this. And I had taken off all my clothes and was just wearing the fake fur coat and high heels on stage, like wrapping up the end of the pageant. And he immediately was like, what is that? And so he makes his way backstage. We start talking and find out that we are kindred spirits musically because we grew up playing the same instruments. And as I've said before, he's like a male Tori Amos, a male Kate Bush, huge star. We became best friends, and he ends up taking me on all these tours all over Europe where I get to open for him. He's producing my acoustic album and just like soulmates. And it was one of those random Hollywood things where he just happened to walk in off the street where I'm buck naked in a fur coat hosting a beauty pageant with prostitutes. Everyone's been there.
Now, you were telling us on the main show that you went on tour last year and you were doing something very removed from the showgirl we know in WeHo. You were playing the auto harp, singing in a very simple manner, and that you loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a showgirl, so I'm always going to love the craziness. But I'm a woman also. I'm a trans woman, and I'm a woman. And Patrick really, in a way, helped me pull back to that kid who grew up in Tennessee playing acoustic music and, really heart songs, as Dolly Parton calls it. And so when I toured with him, like, we were in this little tent in Wales. It was like a gypsy circus tent or something in Wales. All I had on was red lipstick and mascara, hair up in a chignon, regular dress, just playing the harp. Nobody knew I was trans. Nobody knew, about all the tragedies and LGBT and all that. And I just felt so good just being a woman on stage playing the harp and singing.
Yeah. Sweetie, I'd like to see that show. I didn't get to see it. I'm sure we can find it on your YouTube.
It's coming
right?
up, yes. Go to calpernia.com/calendar.
Wonderful. We will be there. Okay, look at her. Oh, wow. We chose a very old picture. What a cutie.
What do you mean? Alec Mapa, America's Gaysian sweetheart, as he calls himself. He's been on Ugly Betty. He's been on everything.
That's every show you can think of, yeah.
But I met him because he was the host on my the first out transsexual dating show, trademark, Trans American Love Story. And as I always say, the show did nothing for my career, but it introduced me to Alec, and he has become family for me since then. And I'm also very bitter because Alec was on Broadway in Miss Saigon, I think, or he played a very beautiful Japanese lady on Broadway. Google it. And he looks so much better than I will ever look in my life.
How dare!
Look that up. But he's family. I love Alec and his husband Jamie and their son Zion so much. It's one of the greatest blessings that life has given me that we got to be friends.
What's one of a memory from the pandemic times when you guys were in your little bubble together and trying to have some fun?
Well, we cook. Alec was on America's Worst Chefs or something like that.
Yeah.
And strangely, he's actually a really good cook, and he learned to cook even better on the show. So we get together and cook all the time. We live around the corner from each other. So we will cook these incredible meals. He makes this Filipino, like adobo and things like that. And then we'll get completely sloshed on Freenay, sparkling wine, and watch like Downton Abbey or something. But every 5 seconds is a brutal sexual assessment of whoever's on screen, just of what we would do to them, with them, what we want them to do to us, male, female, and that's like every other night. We just dissect every show sexually.
Oh, sounds good.
Hello, children. Click here. Click here. And subscribe. You're welcome.